How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you. So let's get right into this review and see what's about. So the other day, I had the chance of watching a movie I hadn't seen before, and that is the awesome and interesting, but yet somewhat slow kind of film, The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. Now, this is the remake from 2011, not the original Swedish version that was based on the book. This one actually was directed by the awesome and amazing Mr. David Fincher. Now, David Fincher, we all recognize as being the director of the awesome movie Fight Club, but he also directed a couple other films that I feel that are a little bit underrated for his, directing performance. I mean, he has had a lot of great, movies that, a lot of people enjoy. But the two I'm going to talk about, I feel, are two of his most underrated films, which were actually really good films. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is actually the 1997 film, The Game, starring Michael Douglas, which I thought was a really amazing film. Sean Penn's in it as well, and it was just a really well-constructed film that was very interesting. Now, you also might have heard that he had directed another great film, and that is based on the true story of a serial killer, The Zodiac, starring Mark Ruffalo, Jake Gyllenhaal, and the awesome Robert Downey Jr. Now, that was a really well-done rendition of the Zodiac killings, and also the gentleman Robert Graysmith, who basically has written several books about the Zodiac and his dealings with him back during that time frame. And they did a really good job. David Fincher kicked the butt out of that film and just made a really well-rounded, based on a serial killer, true story type of film. And it was just really well done. I really feel he didn't get enough credit for how good of a movie that is. But I feel David Fincher did a decent job with this remake of The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. He definitely put his element to the film. It was definitely way more Americanized than the original one that I had seen. Definitely had an all-star cast that he included in it. And he did a decent job. It wasn't like the most horriblest movie, but at the same time, he definitely did a decent, directing job because he's just a really good director. Now, like I said, this film has an awesome cast. And this awesome cast has the awesome Mr. Daniel Craig in it. Now, Daniel Craig, we all know from such films as like the newer James Bond films. Casino Royale, Spectre, Skyfall, all those ones as the newer James Bond. But I feel there's a couple other movies that he is really well known for that also are considered underrated type of films. Particularly one that I feel that didn't get enough credit for when it came out back in 2008 is the awesome Jon Favreau film, Cowboys vs. Aliens, which I thought was a really great film. Really interesting, lots of great graphics. Daniel Craig was really awesome, and I really enjoyed him in it. He was just super cool and was a real kind of cowboy action star in it. It was a really well done film. Another film that I don't think Daniel Craig gets enough credit for, or is just another good movie that he's in, is the awesome, horror thriller type film, kind of ghost story almost-y, Dream House, which I thought was a really interesting film. It also stars the beautiful and gorgeous Rachel Weisz, of course, that he's married to now, and also Naomi Watts is in it too. And it was just a really interesting, odd kind of film at the same time, but was really well directed and made an interesting story, and it was fun to watch. But Daniel Craig as the main character in this film, the reporter that is trying to get this story, he was amazing. He was so good at it. I feel he was probably the best part of the film. He was really well rounded in the film, and I just really enjoyed his character. He brought a lot of great, interesting and awesome and eccentric taste to the film of his kind of acting bravado, and he just really did a really interesting job in the film, and I really enjoyed it. We also have in the film another awesome actor that has been in a ton of films and just is a really immensely amazing actor. that I feel doesn't get enough credit for how good he is, and that is Stellan Skarsgård. Now, Stellan Skarsgård, of course, everyone's probably going to recognize him as Bootstrap Bill from the second and third Pirates of the Caribbean film. But there was a couple other films that were really interesting that he was in that I thought were really good films. Particularly one I thought that he was really good in was the awesome shark film, Deep Blue Sea. Now, his role wasn't super long in the film, but still, at the same time, it was really kind of interesting, kind of arrogant role, because you're kind of playing God in the film, making these, sharks smarter so that you can try to research a type of drug to try to help reverse Alzheimer's, basically. And just that movie is just an awesome movie. I absolutely love that. It's probably one of my favorite shark movies ever. And Rennie Harlin did a great job with that film. But Stellan Skarsgård I thought was really awesome in it. His brief part in it, and he was really awesome. And the he really helped flavor the story in the film and to give it the gore factor element. Being one of the first to unfortunately croak in the film. But yeah, at the same time, it was just a really great movie. I love Deep Blue Sea. Another film that he was in that I thought was really good and doesn't get enough credit for how good of a film it is. Amistad. Now, Amistad is a great biographical kind of realistic film about during the slavery times back when John Adams was still around. And it's just an interesting and horrible story, though, at the same time, just of what the slaves went through back in those times. And it's just a really great movie. Stellan Skarsgård's character in it is really interesting, plays a really well done role. And just all around, that Amistad is probably one of Steven Spielberg's next greatest films, I feel. Besides doing Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan, and that's up there with those high-ranking Oscar type of films. Amistad was just an amazing film and really showed you the true character of what it was like back, during the late 1700s, early 1800s for African Americans, unfortunately. And it shows the true life of just what things were like then, and just the whole movie is just really intense with Matthew McConaughey and also Morgan Freeman and Anthony Hopkins playing John Adams. It's a really well done movie, and Stellan Skarsgård was awesome in it. I really enjoyed him in it. But Stellan Skarsgård in this film plays a really good evil person. He's very sinister. He's very you can tell, you can feel that he feels like a type of serial killer type of guy. And he just really played the bad guy really well. And I thought he was probably the second best person in the film. Just really well done job by him. Just all around amazing. That scene where he's talking about that he's never tortured a man before, him being his first, his authenticity was just so well done. Really interesting movie. Really good. We also have in this film another actress that is a decent actress and does pretty well in other films that I've seen her in, and that is Miss Rooney Mara. Now, Rooney Mara plays the main actress, person in the film that plays Elizabeth in the film, and she has been around and done quite a few interesting films. This is probably one of her most interesting. A lot of people have probably, said. And in my own opinion, I feel that, yes, this is most definitely one of her more graphic roles that she's played, and it was, done in a very tasteful and interesting way. But Rooney Mara, we've also seen in some other great films, such as the awesome 2015 film Pan, starring Hugh Jackman. And it's an awesome film. She plays Tiger Lily, actually, which I found interesting. And they actually kind of made a big deal about her playing an Indian role because she's not Indian, and I thought that was kind of stupid that they were making such a big deal about it. But at the same time, I'm like, she still did a good job of playing Tiger Lily in the film, and I thought the film was just amazing Peter Pan adaptation. Probably one of the best I've seen in recent years. I even think it's better than that Peter Pan that came out with in 2004 with Jeremy Sumpter. Just a really well-rounded film, and Hugh Jackman as Blackbeard was really awesome. I really enjoyed that. But Rooney Mara was also in another great film that I totally forgot she was in, and I was just like, wow, I don't remember her in the film. And then at the same time, I'm like, wait a second, she's like the second person in command of the film, and that is the film with Cate Blanchett, Carol. And I had only seen Carol once, and I was just like, and when I was reading up on it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, she was in that. She plays the woman that Kate Blanchett's in love with. I'm like, I totally forgot that, because the Carol the movie I didn't really care for too much. I didn't think it was that great or Oscar worthy, and I was like, I'm like blanked on it. But at the same time, her portrayal in it, Rooney Mara, was really a decent, acting role. She did her good job. She really played well off of Kate Blanchett, and just was really impressionable, and also very what's the word? Believable. She was very believable in the film, so she did a really good job in that. And then Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, she was really interesting in the film. She played that role very like, decent. It wasn't probably her best performance ever, but at the same time, the movie itself is, because it's like seems so long and dragged out and kind of boring in certain spots. So some of her performance in it was like, I feel unnecessarily overlong a little bit, but at the same time, she still did a decent job, and I still think she did an amazing job for what the character she had to play was. But at the same time, I think that Rooney Mara is a decent actress in herself, and definitely decent in this film. We also have in this film another actress that has been around for 30 plus years, and was a big staple in the 80s, and that's Miss Robin Wright. Now, Robin Wright we all recognize from the awesome film The Princess Bride, which she plays Princess Buttercup. And she was just, so young in that, and just fun and enjoyable in that, and played the role very well, and probably one of her first roles. And that's like one of the first movies that really defined her, and that I remember her from. And that, I feel that's one of her best roles ever. She also was in another film that is an interesting and awesome film. And that awesome film is the awesome Unbreakable. Now, Unbreakable is an awesome superhero, kind of supernatural / kind of thriller, horror a little bit, a drama type of film that came out in 2000, starring Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson, and she plays the ex-wife of Bruce Willis in the film, and she just did a really good job in the film, and I really enjoyed her in it. She really was a part of that film. She really did well. She really made it convincing, and she did a decent job. And Girl with Dragon Tattoo, her character was very interesting because she kind of has like this on and off again affair going on with Daniel Craig's character. And so you're like wondering, like, why is this woman doing this when she's like a high prolific person and is married, and stuff like that. And she played the part very well, and she was very like kind of evil / kind of like sympathetic / kind of dumb character, because why are you doing this? You have a perfectly good life. But she did a really good job of the film. I thought she did a decent job in the film, and wasn't that bad at it. She definitely gave the movie some flavor that it needed to progress it on the story, and made it very interesting. Last but not least, we have another awesome actor that's in the film that I absolutely think is an amazing actor, and that's Mr. Christopher Plummer. And Christopher Plummer has been in so many awesome movies. He's been in, such awesome films as The Sound of Music, which is an amazing film with Julie Andrews. As Captain Von Trapp is probably one of his best performances. I love Christopher Plummer in the role, and the Girl in the Dragon Tattoo was really awesome. I really enjoyed him being this like old school guy that's trying to give the story to Daniel Craig and give him all the information he can, and trying to solve this mystery of the missing woman. And you're just like, he's trying to find this woman that's been missing for years, and it just was an amazing role, and I thought Christopher Plummer was amazing. Last but not least, another awesome actress was in this film, and that is Miss Joely Richardson. Now, Joely Richardson we recognize from so many other films that were just amazing type of films. Plus, also, she was just an amazing actress and always fun to watch. Well, a couple roles that are my favorites of hers, or a lot of people might recognize her from, are such films as the awesome 2000 flick with Mel Gibson, The Patriot, which was an amazing film, one of the best war movies ever. I mean, that one is up there with Saving Private Ryan, movies like that, because it was so well made. The awesome Heath Ledger was in it, and it was an all around amazing Civil War type movie. Just amazing cast, amazing everyone in that, and Julie Richardson was really fun in that film. Loved her character, and she gave it really good spice and flavor to the film. She also was in another great film that was just, an interesting and awesome film. And that film was 101 Dalmatians, a live-action film with Jeff Daniels that came out in 1996. That was a really amazing live-action adaptation. Glenn Close as Cruella de Vil was amazing. Just an all-around fun and, non-thinking type of film that it's super hilarious. And you got a great cast. I mean, like I said, you got Jolie Richardson, Jeff Daniels, Glenn Close. Then you also have Hugh Laurie in it, who's awesome as Jasper. Just an all-around great film. And I love Jolie Richardson's character in it. She's like so sweet and innocent in the film, and it's just a real pleasure and fun to watch in it. And she just did a really good job. And Jolie Richardson's brief part that's in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is really interesting because she plays the girl that has been missing for all these years. And her character, it gets developed over the film and over the time of the film. And you really don't know what's going on really with her character until finally Daniel Craig confronts her and talks to her about it. And she basically comes, clean about everything that happened. So it was a really interesting character. And she really brought a lot of great acting ability to that role and to bringing that story to a full circle and making it an interesting story. So if you don't know what The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is about, basically what it's about is it's the story of this it's a story about this journalist, basically, that's in hot water and is trying to come up with this great story to kind of revive his career and get him out of the gutter. And he ends up asking the help of this hacker girl, who is Elizabeth, and that is played by Rooney Mara, to help him solve and to finish this case of these missing girls that have been going on for the last 40 years. And basically, they get involved in it, and they start finding out things and facts, and basically confront the killer and basically to bring him back to jail, or to bring him to jail to get him justice, and basically to converse and to get the full story so that, basically, like I said, Daniel Craig can get himself out of this giant mess that he's in and to revamp his career, basically. So it's basically that story. And it involves Daniel Craig's character and Rooney Mara's character and basically what they go through to get to where they need to get to the end of the film, or to their point that they're trying to get to. It's an interesting concept of film. I feel that there's a lot of parts in it that they didn't really need, like having the whole rape thing involved in the film. I totally feel that's unnecessary for any book or any type of literature. I mean, why do we want to find that as entertainment? I have no idea, and I thought that was just unnecessary for that story to progress. You could take that Elizabeth character, I feel, and still make her the way she is, but why, without having to do with some kind of rape thing or something and make her a lesbian and stuff like that. I just feel that was all unnecessary for that story. But at the same time, I thought they did a very tasteful way of approaching it in the film. And definitely they did it, David Fincher did a great job with the film itself. The film itself, it's not something I would own or buy or probably ever watch again, but it was definitely, I'm glad I watched it so I can say I've seen both versions of the film, because I didn't really care for the original either. But it's definitely, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It's definitely worth at least a watch just to see what it's about and see how it differs from the book, if you've read the book or not. Definitely interesting enough to watch, at least to check it out. I give this one 2 golden movie boxes up. for some acting effort from all the actors and actresses involved, definitely in the film. Not the greatest film to in my mind. Like I said, definitely not something I would add to my collection. Maybe if I came across it for $1 or something, or somebody gave it to me, maybe I add it. But other than that, no, I wouldn't purposely go out and buy this movie, because I was kind of disappointed with it. I was hoping it wasn't going to be as long and boring as the original, and unfortunately, to me, it felt that way again. So that's too bad. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here and you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscription button so that you don't miss one of these awesome movie reviews or any of the awesome videos that I put out. And as always, keep your eyes out for any old or newer videos you might not have seen mine yet. And as always, please check out that link down below about the awesome Horror Pack. Now, Horror Pack is this awesome subscription service, kind of like Loot Crate. Basically, you get 4 mystery DVDs or 4 mystery Blu-rays of awesome horror goodness right to your door for an awesome low price. Plus, also, there are limited editions in every box that are exclusive to the awesome Horror Pack. So what are you waiting for? Go ahead and check it out, people. And if you are interested in joining, let me know down in the comments so I can hook you up with a discount on your first month. That's right, discount, people. Yeah. Who wouldn't want a discount? You know what I mean? And as always, catch you on the next one.